Tonight, it's about a reporter for the Wall Street Journal who was handcuffed and detained by Phoenix police for trying to interview customers outside a bank for a news story. Now, the bank apologized for what happened, but not Phoenix PD. They're sticking by their officer. It's yet another controversial case for a department that, like as we said, is under federal investigation.
I would leave. I'm not going to give you any more chances. You're not giving me any chances for what? I haven't done anything wrong.
It's November 23rd outside a Chase Bank in North Phoenix. And this is Dion Rabowen, a reporter for the Wall Street Journal. So how did he end up in handcuffs?
Yeah, that's a great question. Things really escalated quickly.
We spoke to Dion from his New York office, and he walked us through that day.
I was in Phoenix for just some time with my family, and I figured, let me actually get out of the office, not talk to these experts, economists, all that. Let me actually go talk to some real people, some folks who actually use the Chase Bank.
While at the bank, on the sidewalk next to the building, he said 2 employees came out, asked him what he was doing. He told them, identified himself. Then they went back inside. And most importantly, Dion says no one asked him to leave, but then police arrived.
Again, identified myself. I said, my name's Dion Rabowen. I'm a reporter for the Wall Street Journal, working on a story, anything like that. I told them, the folks in the branch, what was going on. And he said, well, you can't do that.
Right now, we don't have video of those first several minutes.
If this isn't public property and I don't have the legal right to be here, I'm fine moving. He literally kind of shifted his body to keep me from moving or going anywhere. And then, as we talked a little bit more, he said, you know what, I'm done with this, and starts grabbing me and kind of grabbing at my arms. And I kind of was flustered and sort of drew back. And he was like, kind of listen, this can get bad for you if you don't comply, if you don't do what I say. And I was like, okay, all right. So he grabs my arms, really kind of wrenches them behind my back, and proceeds to put me in handcuffs.
I told you I would voluntarily leave.
I heard him say he was gonna leave. This is ridiculous. He's a reporter, and I heard him say he was gonna leave.
And it's around that moment when a bank customer who was watching it happen pulled out her phone and started recording.
Like nothing wrong. No, he said he was gonna leave. You did not need to cuff him.
Do you think that you were treated the way that you were by the bank, but mostly by police because you're a black guy in street clothes and they just didn't believe that you were a reporter for the Wall Street Journal? I mean, do you think that is a cause here?
That's a good question. And it's interesting because when I got dressed to go to the bank, when I was like, oh, I'm going to go over to the bank and do this, I intentionally sort of didn't dress up because I didn't want people to think I was selling something.
As I said to you very clearly, I was never asked to leave.
I'm fine where I am. I'm not doing anything wrong.
You want to get arrested as well?
Dion says he really started to worry when the officer asked him to get into the car.
This doesn't mean you're going to jail. I don't want to get in jail.
The two went back and forth for a few minutes. Dion didn't want to put his feet in and let the door close.
I didn't trust what was going to happen. I didn't trust, while this young woman is recording, I feel like the odds of him not doing anything to me, whether that's physically or anything else, are a lot higher.
Because I don't want to have to push you inside the car. Right, there's no reason for you to push me. There's no reason for you to put your hands on me. Do this. All you have to, look, if you need to run right now, I can put my hands on you and push you inside the car.
But why would you want to do that?
About 8 minutes into the recording, more officers show up. Roughly 2 minutes after the backup arrives, Dion is taken out of his cuffs. Now, the Wall Street Journal says that Chase Bank executives apologized directly for what happened. The response from Phoenix PD was different.
I got a call a couple weeks after I reported the incident that they reviewed the body cam footage and that they didn't find anything to be wrong.
In this letter, the Wall Street Journal's editor-in-chief officially complained directly to new Phoenix chief Michael Sullivan and the department's public information office. It begins, quote, I am writing to express my deep concern over the conduct of members of the Phoenix Police Department. It ends, the Journal expects that the Phoenix Police Department will take whatever steps are necessary to ensure that neither Mr. Rabowen nor any other journalist is again subjected to such conduct.
Really could have just ended with me saying, okay, I'll leave. Him saying, all right, great, have a nice day. Or even not something that polite. He could have just pointed me on my way and that would have been it.
And ironically, with a witness now recording, that's almost exactly how it ended.
journalists. We don't, as journalists, want to be the story. We want to report the story. But I think it's important to talk about this because of everything we've talked about. You know, this is a department that's under DOJ investigation for excessive force, that's under investigation for the way that they operate and the way they handle business. And despite that, they continue to operate this way. And
Late today, Phoenix sent us an incident report, and the officer claims that Dion initially refused to identify himself and that there was probable cause to arrest him for third-degree trespassing. We also requested the body camera video, but it hasn't been released yet.